I'm continuing from my first video that I shot this morning of a pond with nice mist rising and then the sun rising right behind it. If you want to see that video, I'll leave a link in the description below, and I'll also link to it at the end of this video. So make sure you check that out because it's a good one too. But now we're up in the Poudre Canyon. We've got a fresh snowfall. It's sitting on the trees, it's blasted on the hillsides, it's stuck to the rocks. And I've been up here in snow before, but today we have another element that I haven't had before, which is nice bright sunlight. And the Poudre Canyon is a really steep, rugged canyon, and it really comes to life when the sun is shining. Basically, you have these steep hillsides, and as the sun crests, you have certain parts of the landscape that are lit up and bright, and then you have other parts that are going to be in shadow. And when you combine that beautiful directional light with the fresh snowfall and the textures and the rocks, you can really use it to create a lot of depth in your images and just create a more dynamic, interesting image than you would in flat light. So we've got a few things going on that I'm going to focus on. For starters, right behind me here, there is a little tree. It's got a really shapely structure to it, and then the snow is sitting on top of these trunks and really causes it to stand out. And then behind it we have some pine trees that are completely caked in snow. The whole scene has this really beautiful, soft, blue reflected light, and in addition to that we have the Poudre River flowing by in the foreground with fresh ice and fresh frost all over that ice. That's just at this stop. There's definitely going to be more to see along the way, so I'm going to get started and see what I can come up with. I've gotten a few compositions so far that I really like. I'm channeling my inner PNW photographer, that's Pacific Northwest for those of you not in the know, and I put my camera down super low, right up on those frost patterns, and I put those in the foreground, and I did a focus stack for depth of field since the foreground was so close. You couldn't have done it with f/22 even. So I think that one turned out so nice. Nice curvy patterns, frost in the foreground, frozen river, moving water in the middle ground, and then that ornamental bonsai tree in the back with just the hints of the distant ridgeline and the blue sky sitting up above it. So really a lot of layers, a lot of complexity to that image, a lot to look at, and yet I think that the composition flows really nicely. Moving on to the next composition, I moved my tripod a little bit higher to kind of get up and over a lot of the frost in the foreground. So kind of going for the opposite effect, zooming in a little bit more and really isolating and focusing on the trees on the distant hillside. This version of the image portrays a slightly calmer scene, and maybe it doesn't look quite as frigid or rugged, and the composition is just a little bit more tranquil feeling to me. So both images are good images, and just by moving the tripod up and down, changing up the focal length just a little bit, you can really create two different images with quite a different feeling. And I like to speak about this quite a lot just because it interests me so much, but this kind of portrays exactly why two photographers can come to the same location, shoot the same scene at the same time, and come away with vastly different images. And that is the beauty of photography. You're coming out, you're capturing fleeting moments, and you're applying your own style and sensibilities to your images. And anyone who says photography isn't art, I think we need to put a camera in their hands and they need to come out and take some pictures and realize just the amount of control that you have in shaping your final image. So yet another reason why I love photography. So I'm going to change things up a little bit now. I think that I've worked this scene pretty well for now with the wide angle, and I'm going to stick on my 70-200, and I'm going to start picking out some details in the trees over here. We have one cottonwood to the right that is getting hit with the light, provides a really nice contrast. So I'm going to stick this bad boy on and see what I can come up with. So I was just finishing up that last image down by the river, and I turned around and looked behind me, and the sun had risen enough to not be touching where I was, so I hadn't quite noticed it, but it is hitting the cottonwood trees that were just up the hill from the river. So I decided to walk back up the hill, and now I'm looking back down towards the river with my 70-200 from up on the hill. And what we have here is backlit cotton trees in the foreground and snowy, shaded, but just a little bit of reflected light on them pine trees right in the background. So totally a study in texture, and compositionally the trunks of the cottonwoods I think provide just enough structure and direction for the eye. Here we are again. You might recognize this location, and that's because I spent the entire duration of today's shoot right within this 100-foot area of the river. I never made it up canyon further, and I don't plan on heading up any further today. Everything that could have went right today did. I mean, I feel so lucky and so grateful to have experienced these conditions today, and I'm totally satisfied with all of the images that I got. I'm satisfied with the video that I made today, and things just could not have gone any better. So there was no need to move. There was no need to continue scouting and look for other things. I had just a cornucopia of incredible sights to be found right here, and I stuck right here and I photographed them in as much depth as I could. With that said, thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. I hope to see you down below in the comments section. I really enjoy interacting with everyone. I love being a part of the YouTube community. I think YouTube is such a powerful tool to show our individual visions, and I love to hear what you guys think of my story just as much as I love commenting on your guys' videos, stories, and photographs. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. I really appreciate it, and it helps my channel grow and be seen by others. So with that said, thanks again for watching my video, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Oh, P.S. Don't forget to watch part 1 of this video. You'll find the link to that in the description for the video, as well as in about 20 to 30 seconds at the end of this video. So, thanks again, guys. Check it out. Later. Thanks. Bye.